It's the year end, and there are meetings and deadlines and things to get done and projects to complete. And a lot of people are feeling under pressure. Perhaps you're feeling some of this pressure. Well, you're not alone. Hi, this is Dr. Amina Aitsi-Selmi for another episode of Wise Wednesdays. And today I want to share a distinction that might support you in alleviating some of this pressure whilst getting things done. And it's the distinction between urgency and integrity. What do I mean? So when we feel a bit of pressure, our survival instinct is to run, is to move, is to do things, because in the past, pressure meant that there was a danger somewhere and we needed to get out of the way or run or fight. But in today's world of work, then that might not be the right response. The more appropriate response might be integrity, to respond with integrity. What does that mean? Here it means simply to be in alignment with why you're doing all of this in the first place. Presumably you have a vision of the kind of impact, the kind of career or work, the kind of life, the kind of world you want to see, that you want to contribute to. And that's why you're putting all of this effort and energy out into the world. It's not just to run and get things done. And so integrity means pausing to remember that, to realign, to bring that vision, those values front and center so that it informs what you're doing, the actions you're taking, and the thinking, the reflection you're using to make decisions. Let me give you an example of a client who I was speaking with in a coaching session just today, and who's feeling under pressure. He came to the session feeling that there was a lot to do, and he was feeling the pressure. And he's a doctor. So he's trained to respond, to be very responsible, to help. And he works and specializes in global health, which means that he creates health systems, health structures, and makes sure they're funded so that health services are available and accessible where they're needed most in the world. So you can imagine with a mission like that, it's easy to get caught and to feel responsible and to feel like you need to keep getting things done and moving. But from a leadership perspective, you need to make effective decisions, not just any decision. And you can't just keep doing things without really considering what those things are, because those things will have a ripple of impact. So it's really important, whoever you are, to make sure you're using your energy in the most effective way possible to create the results that you want to create. And so that's what we did. We took a step back, paused, came back into the present moment, which relieved some of the pressure and started to free up his energy, giving him bandwidth to prioritize, to start to see actually what needed to be done and what didn't, and whether deadlines could move without harming the results and the projects. And so he left feeling much more invigorated, much clearer, and ready to take the right next step whilst taking care of his energy and his relationships. Because you don't want to get somewhere and realize it's cost you your health or it's cost you your relationships. That is not success. That is a result of being in a success trap where you're just focused on one thing just because, and there's no real why underneath. It's just to achieve the goal. And that's not what we're about. That's not what I'm about. Presumably that's not what you're about if you're listening to me talking on this video. So I want to share the 3 principles that I use just to clarify that process. And hopefully that can help you. Which is number 1, presence. Are you present in this moment? Or are you fighting the moment? You can't fight the moment. The moment is what it is. What you can do is be in the moment and create the next one. And you create the next one from a place of power. Power is the ability to make choices, or responsibility, sometimes people call it. That is an empowered place where you realize you have the power to make choices. You're not a victim at the effect of circumstance. As an adult of a human being, you are always able to make choices. and it's important, and the work to feel empowered is looking at your assumptions, your biases, your beliefs about the situation, because they're what can create a feeling of being trapped, or reinforce a sense of disempowerment, or a feeling that you have to keep going in a particular direction because of an external force or an internal habitual force. So power is the principle of remembering you're not a victim. You have choice. And the saying is that I use is, there's no such thing as time management, is choice management. So focus on what you can do and what is yours to do. And that can only be done through presence, and then coming into this reflective process of empowerment, of looking at the situation through a more empowered lens. And then finally, possibility, which is where the action happens, which is where we tend to want to go there. You know, like my client who's a high achiever, that's the kind of tendency, is to push harder, to go faster, to get things done. But the sense of possibility is action that is informed from presence and power, or conscious power, not from habit or reactivity. So, and from there, there's suddenly what seems impossible starts to feel possible. The deadlines that seem impossible to meet suddenly are back in, things are back in perspective, and you see actually it is possible to get things done, even if we move things around a little bit. And it will certainly, the result will certainly be enhanced if you are well resourced, if you're feeling clear and energized. So that's the distinction I wanted to share, and these three principles, but it's the distinction of urgency versus integrity that I want to leave you with, that you don't have to just keep going and move without feeling clear, and that being in alignment, remembering why you're doing something, even moment to moment, it only takes a few seconds, keeps you in integrity and makes you much more effective as a leader, as a decision maker, and in creating the career, life, and impact you truly want. Remember, the world doesn't need more busy people. It needs people who are more aligned with the truth, with the vision that lives in them. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below or above, and I will see you soon.